Hi there, it's Donovan, and welcome back to episode 43 of the special hour. I am joined not by a guest, but my co-host, Mr. Dean. No guest today.
Yeah, what's up, everyone? It's Mr. Dean. Welcome back to this special hour. Today, we're going to be doing yet another ripoff of the Pat Nat channel.
I think every time we have a slow week, we just become the Pat Nat channel.
Yeah, okay, but to be fair, though, we're different because Pat Nat is much more structured in his brackets, and also ours are more just like weird, not necessarily in like a good or bad way.
They get a little quirky.
Yeah, but no, for real though, like go check out Pat Nat Games bracket breakdown if you guys want to see stuff like this, because he does a really good series on that. So yeah, I definitely think we're down to do more of these type of podcasts because they're really fun to do, and there's like limitless amounts of chicanery we can get into with it.
Will we be calling people today?
Oh, we'll see, because yeah, unlike last time, we don't have a third person, so if we need a deal breaker, we might have to. You know what we should do while we're going through our introductions? I should hit up a few people, like as like to have on standby.
As a joke, I would have been like, Dad, come here.
Which one do you think, like with no information, do you think should move on? Basically, what we're going to be doing in this episode is a bracket of 16 different gimmicks that Nintendo has had on their consoles, whether it be at home or handheld. These range in terms of like how important or influential they were. Basically, it's just as long as Nintendo used it as a form of marketing or as like a thing that made that particular system unique, then I figured it was eligible for the list. And this isn't comprehensive or anything, so if we left anything out, I mean, you can yell at us in the comments if you want. You can boost the algorithm for us. Feel free to. Well, I'm not joking. That unironically would help. But okay. Anyway, before we get into that though, Donovan, what have you been up to over the past week?
It's not been. Well, actually, I did have a friend over on Monday. We basically it was a work day. We filmed like 3 videos. I guess this will feature in special selects, but we went over to Target and then we went over to my house to do some things, and yeah, that was pretty fun. Then other than that,
you filmed videos for YouTube?
Yeah.
Why did you say yeah like that?
I mean, what else would I film videos for? Other than that, I've been a complete bum, but I have been writing some scripts and cooking up some videos, so I guess I haven't been truly a bum. What about you?
Similarly, been doing work. I had one unfortunate thing happen this past week, though. This was not fun. So I was working on my computer maybe like 4 days ago, and out of nowhere, because I have 2 monitors, my second monitor completely shitted out on me, and like it would just turn into like horizontal lines. So I spent the next like 30 minutes trying to go through everything on my primary monitor to like figure out if it was a software problem. I was like updating my graphics driver. I was changing the refresh. Like I was doing anything I could possibly think of, and I was Googling, trying to figure out, what might have been wrong. And I confirmed that it wasn't the computer because I was connecting my Switch to that monitor through HDMI. So I switched it and like I disconnected my computer and everything, and it still was happening on the Switch too. So I'm pretty sure that monitor was just at the end of its life cycle because I have had it for a while, but that was an unfortunate thing. So rest in peace to Mr. Dean's second monitor. You got me through a lot of editing and stuff, so I really appreciate your service. Other than that though, I feel like there wasn't anything too crazy. Do you want to go ahead and do that one segment that we do?
That one segment. So I went over, because Nintendo is very weird. They only do it for select retail stores for this specific demo for some reason instead of releasing it on the eShop. But okay, I didn't want to feel like a weirdo, just standing there alone with a tripod. So I had my friend record me playing Yoshi and the fucking Book. Oh yeah. What a game. It sure was a game. I pressed some buttons and I jumped, and it had graphics and colors, and yep, that's all I gotta say. We filmed...
Wait, is that all you have to say about it?
I mean, if you want me to go more in depth,
well, it's just like that just describes every single game ever made. So.
More in depth, huh?
Well, you don't have to spend like 10 minutes on it, but I'm just curious what was
I could name things.
Bro.
It's really such a nothing burger.
Okay.
I'm sure the game is good. It's just not for me. Okay. Tomodachi Life, living the dream. Some funny things happened, specifically to your me. You were in a bit of a pickle when it came to relationships. Then I'm like, you know what? We're here. We might as well play Super Mario Bros. Wonder Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Meetup at Mobile Bell Park. We played a little bit more of that. And on my own, I've been starting up a playthrough of Pragmata on Switch 2. Pragmata has a very innovative and very unique kind of shooting. It's unique in the way where it's never really been done before. I don't think any other game will do this, so I won't say it's super innovative, but it's so unique, so fun, because every time you're aiming, you're basically trying to kill this AI. Every time you aim, you have to go through a series of maze-like puzzles using the face buttons, and at first you'd think it would feel very clunky, but it actually feels super intuitive, very fun, very satisfying. It's pretty cool. Diana looks a little bit creepy, but her relationship with Hugh seems to be blooming in a very wholesome way. Hugh's a little bit of a blank slate, but he's I bet he'll be a little bit more interesting as time goes on. It's a very fun first-person shooter game. Well, it's not even first-person, it's third-person, but it's a fun shooter, puzzle game, action game, whatever, from Capcom. They've been on fire this year, and Pragmata isn't disappointing me so far. What have you been playing?
So I've been playing more of F-Zero GX. So that I mentioned it last week. Dude, I just love the F-Zero series. Like it's unironically become one of my favorite Nintendo series.
Then you gotta pick up Zero Racers on the Virtual Boy coming soon. That's technically the newest F-Zero game releasing.
All right, well, thank you all for listening to the special. I might have to pass on that, Donovan.
No.
I mean, we'll talk more about the Virtual Boy later in this episode, but I just don't know how much of an inkling I have for that. But
just say you don't give a fuck.
F-Zero, though, such a fun series. Like, even the games on it that aren't as good, like Maximum Velocity, or to a certain extent X, because X is just like a weaker version of GX generally. It's like, I still have fun playing them, but whenever F-Zero hits, like when 99 or GX, dude, it's such like an adrenaline rush. So badly want a new F-Zero game. Other than that, just I've mainly been like working on like videos and stuff. So I'm sure next week I'll finally have a new game to talk about. Hopefully this doesn't turn like a Hades 2 thing where I just spend 10 weeks straight like I was playing F-Zero GX again, because I could honestly see that becoming a game where I just play it just because it's just fun. But are you ready to kind of get into this bracket?
Yeah, so we're doing another bracket. This is the definitive answer to this question, and if you are wrong, I'll be seeing you.
I'll be seeing you. What the fuck? All right, so yeah, and also if anyone has any ideas or suggestions for brackets that we should do in the future, feel free to let us know, because I mean, like we said in the intro, we're definitely interested in doing more of these. For round one, we have motion controls, i.e., I mean, it's been prevalent since the Wii, but I'm just going to use the Wii as a primary example because that's where it was really introduced, versus the Rumble Pack, which for anyone that is unfamiliar, it was an accessory you could get for the Nintendo 64 where it introduced the concept of Rumble. And I believe it was the first time a controller ever had Rumble, unless if I'm mistaken. At first, whenever I was making this list, and by the way, this time I wasn't really seeding these, I just kind of put them randomly. I was thinking it was going to be kind of like an obvious round, but honestly, the more I think about it, like I might actually go the opposite direction than I was originally intended or expecting to go. But Donovan, do you have any like immediate thoughts about this?
The Rumble Pack, it introduces vibrations in your hands when you're playing games, so you could feel more immersed. And Rumble's come a long way.
Why did you say it like that? You feel vibrations in your hands when you're playing games.
I wish I could feel that, but with the DualSense, Rumble has come a long way, to the point where you can feel like individual footsteps in the sand, or you can feel the difference between water and wind. Rumble truly has been a vital component, I'd say, to immersion in video games. Though I will say I do have a couple friends that prefer not to play with Rumble, that see it, just as an afterthought, or they just outright turn it off. They see it as unnecessary or even distracting. So maybe Rumble can be knocked down a few pegs there.
No, I disagree personally. I personally see Rumble as, I mean, obviously there definitely can be applications in games where Rumble becomes distracting, but generally I think especially whenever it's like a story game or something that's meant to immerse you into the world more, I've always seen Rumble as a really cool concept for, pulling you in. That's just me though.
Here's the tougher question. What does it bring to gaming that motion controls doesn't trump?
Everything pretty much that we just said about Rumble can also be said about motion controls, because like yes, the Rumble Pack was massively influential and we still see Rumble used today. Same thing can be said about motion controls too. Even on that note, being someone that was right there whenever the Wii was in its prime, and I saw just how much of like a revolution, no pun intended, that shit was. It's really hard to argue to me that the Rumble is like eclipsing it in terms of influence. We could have the conversation about which one has led to better or worse game design, which one has maybe had a more net positive impact on the way we play games. If we're talking about influence, both of these are massive. Okay, one thing I will say, while I think in their prime motion controls exceeded Rumble, I do think that motion controls was more of a fad than Rumble. Like, I feel like Rumble's just kind of consistently been something that game designers will implement, whereas motion control was massive in that generation, and it still is used today, but it's not nearly as much of a selling point as it used to be.
I think motion controls gets a bit of a bad rap because of the waggle features it had in a lot of Wii games, but when used correctly for like pointer controls or emulating a sword to an extent, I think it could be such a truly immersive and a completely different way to play games that you can't get from a standard input device like a controller or a keyboard. Though it's not used today as prevalently, Nintendo probably does motion the best still with all their weird wacky experiments, or gyro aiming with Splatoon, and I mean all their first party games really use gyro aiming. But if you look into the VR world, motion controls is like the primary input, so motion is still very prevalent there, and you can argue VR is the most immersive form of gaming, and it cannot be as poignant of a immersive device without motion controls.
Yeah, I wasn't even really thinking about VR.
Yeah, so I think motion controls, not only in terms of bringing the casual gamer into gaming and games more accessible, but it's also, I don't think this is an incomplete sentence, but it's also changed the way, hardcore gamers could play games and the possibilities of what it could bring, more so than Rumble.
Yeah, I still do appreciate Rumble, and I definitely am not trying to downplay like the role it's had in gaming, but I definitely agree with what you're saying about motion controls, and there are instances where games are literally made better with the use of gyro or motion. I mean, look at Splatoon, look at Breath of the Wild with aiming your bow with motion. Like there are examples of how it could be used to actually better a game, not simply just being a gimmick.
Imagine playing Wii Sports with a controller.
Oh yeah,
it would feel so sad.
Yeah, all the or like Wii Play, or yeah, it's like there definitely are examples you could cherry pick of like, oh, this game was made more gimmicky because of motion controls, and I could counter it with another example of a game being made better with motion. So you know what? Yeah, I'm down to move on motion.
Next one, this is a funny one. The Battle of the Shitties.
The Battle of the Shitties.
You got the Virtual Boy versus the Wii U Gamepad. Ooh. They're both hunks of plastic.
Okay, well, I know which one I'm voting on. I mean, yeah, neither of these are gonna win the bracket, obviously. but I think the Wii U Gamepad gets a bad rep. I'm just like, okay, here's the thing. Yes, the Wii U Gamepad was mismanaged for most of the Wii U's life. Really, there's only a very small selection of Wii U games that had good implementation of it. Say Super Mario Maker, maybe a Nintendo Land. There were a few games that used it well. A lot of them, it kind of felt forced. There were moments where the Wii U gamepad felt like it drove the game development rather than, being used to add nuance to, the possibilities of what the game could be. I remember one of the first instances that actually tried to use the gamepad in an interesting way was Ubisoft with Zombie U, which that's probably not a good sign if that's like the main selling point, early on. But with that being said, I also don't hate the gamepad like some people try to make it seem like it was the worst part of the Wii U. Like for one thing, the gamepad was deceptively comfortable to hold, which is shocking, but like, if you use a Wii U and you use a gamepad, it actually feels pretty good in the hands. Yeah, the screen isn't great, but I still do think that in concept, it wasn't terrible. And whenever I think of like reasons why the Wii U failed, honestly, the gamepad isn't even really like top 3. Yes, it probably drove up the price of the system. Whenever people blame the Wii U's failure, it has much more to do with the marketing of the console than it does on the console itself.
How would you pitch the gamepad?
Okay. Do you mean how would I pitch it, assuming it was used the way I would want it to be used versus the way it was actually used?
The way it was actually used.
Okay, the way it was actually used, my elevator pitch would be, this is a peripheral that comes with the system that allows you to directly engage with the main menu tangibly versus just using a standard controller. And whenever you're playing games, it acts as a second screen that sometimes will just display what you're seeing on the TV. Other times will be directly interlaced to the gameplay, like Star Fox Zero, which isn't really making a very good case for the gamepad. But
see, here's my thing: the Wii U gamepad can be cool, but let me consider something. It's unnecessary and doesn't really have any lasting impact. Now with the Virtual Boy, 3D gaming ahead of its time, considering it's a piece of shit.
I mean, I guess
VR is pretty big, not just in gaming. Well, I mean, it's more niche, but it's a developing technology that extends far beyond gaming. And 3D gaming is something that Nintendo has always been obsessed with, and the Virtual Boy was just another footnote to getting to a better quote-unquote future. I think the Virtual Boy, low-key, has a better footing in history than the Wii U gamepad.
What? Okay, all right.
Despite having shit games, bad hardware, I think the heart was there.
Donovan, but we're not doing this ranking purely on influence, though. I mean, like, if we were doing that just on influence, then sure, yeah, this would be an easy win for the Virtual Boy. And it definitely was experimental. Okay, and I don't want what I said to be misinterpreted. I'm not saying that I'm like a dick rider of the gamepad. Like, I'm not, like, I definitely think it was unnecessary, and I think that there were a lot of instances where it wasn't used properly. The Virtual Boy, granted, Donovan has more hands-on experience with the Virtual Boy than I do, and I'm honestly thankful for that. Like, I'm thankful
for that. It's like a disease. I have the hantavirus.
I don't want to touch the Virtual Boy. All right, if we're going off of the impact and the amount of like forethought for the time, sure, I could see us moving it on. I just think the gamepad did give the Wii U identity, though, and there are moments where whenever I do return to a Wii U game, it's like a cool feeling to be like, oh, I'm playing. What's a good example? Like I guess Super Mario Maker is the first one that comes to mind, or like even Splatoon, or like Mario Kart 8. It was kind of cute how you could click on the screen and like honk your horn.
Yeah, that's what's missing from Mario Kart World. That's why it's slop. I mean, the gamepad does have some cool features, like in Nintendo Land.
Yeah.
For the Virtual Boy, I mean, I'm picturing this from a dude in the 90s seeing Parallax 3D in such a dark environment where your eyes are burning.
Oh, it definitely was ahead of its time.
That would definitely be ahead of the time, especially
for sure.
There's a couple quote-unquote 3D games on the Virtual Boy, like that one Haunted Mansion game where it's kind of like a first-person horror game, navigating a 3D space back then. Not super well known. There's what's that flying game? It's like Star Fox, and yeah, navigating something like that in a 3D space is probably wasn't very prevalent at the time in 1995. And also that there's some games that
Are we actually moving on to Virtual Boy?
there's some games on the Virtual Boy where, yeah, you kind of do need that 3D to fully experience that. Because that Star Fox looking game, it kind of looks like a mess of lines and pixels on a 2D display.
Are we actually moving on to Virtual Boy?
I mean, I don't really got an attachment to any. I mean, actually, I have more of an attachment to the Virtual Boy than the Gamepad now.
Brother, don't say all this and then be like, I don't have an attachment to
I'm
it.
kind of
Bro.
biased now. I've been brainwashed by the red and black display.
All right, I guess we can move it.
Yay! It's gonna get knocked down. Don't worry.
Yeah, but I don't think it's gonna be motion controls. It's just funny.
We might as well just move motion controls up like right now. Don't waste any time.
This is another funny matchup we have coming up. Next up, we have the e-reader versus the dual screen of the DS. I mean, this is one of the most obvious ones on this whole ranking, I feel like. I mean, I feel like the fact that me and Donovan kind of had to research like all the usage of the e-reader just to even understand it going into this podcast kind of says
so the e-reader, it's Amiibo before Amiibo, and if Amiibo were just flattened cards or 2D pictures, Pokemon cards worked on the e-reader. I remember that. I say I remember that like I was alive back then.
And we're going to talk about Amiibo in the next round, so I won't go super deep into this, but I do prefer the functionality of Amiibo over e-readers innately because, yeah, we can have a conversation about how, you know, a lot of the games that Amiibos were quote-unquote used in, they didn't really do much. But for me, and I'm sure a lot of other people, it's honestly more so of just like buying collectibles that they're cute to look at. And it's kind of like a way of showing, you know, your interest in gaming and like having it on display. Whereas, once again, I wasn't there for the e-reader cards. I can't imagine people were collecting them and displaying them in the same way.
They were not. But do you think today, if they were released today, would people go crazy? Because card collecting today is
okay,
outrageous.
but it isn't, Donovan, it isn't today, though.
I know. Just a thought. I think the e-reader logo looks ugly and stupid.
Looks like a piece of equipment I would use on a school computer whenever I was in third grade.
Looks like a shitty printer.
And so, like, we're already not speaking very positively about the e-reader. Once again, I'm not trying to shit on the e-reader. I just think that it's like easily one of the least endearing gimmicks that we have on this ranking. At least whenever we're talking about the DS and the 3DS, like, I love the dual screen. I think it's really cool. I like the fact that in a way how the gamepad maybe had its fault sometimes, where games like Star Fox Zero or Kirby and the Rainbow Curse would require you to look down instead of like looking at the TV. The dual screen, the screens were so close together and so small that you could look at both at the same time. In many of the cases, whenever you'd be playing DS games, it was kind of cool what they did with the bottom screen. And especially with RPGs, like with the Mario and Luigi games, you'd constantly be using the bottom screen, and then you would like use sometimes both at the same time. I don't know. I love the dual screen. I think in concept it's really cool. And with the DS, like, it rarely ever, if at all, felt intrusive on the gameplay. Like, I always thought it was cool.
Yeah, unlike the Wii U gamepad, which requires, well, you know, it's separate from the TV. It requires a giant hunk of plastic. The dual screens are right next to each other, integrated on the same system, so it feels a lot more cohesive, integrated, and just a lot more of a cleaner execution compared to what they did in the future with the gamepad. So, I mean, this is not a contest. Goodbye, e-reader.
Yeah, we don't need to spend much time on this round. Next up, we have, speaking of Amiibo, we have Amiibo versus the concept of a hybrid console.
Amiibos are basically Amiibo toys to life. It's like the only survivor. It's still going.
It really is.
12 years strong.
Granted, it's still going, but it definitely is not in its prime anymore. Like, the prime was like the Wii U era, and then like early into the Switch era.
So here's the thing: in its prime, it was all sold out, and everyone was going cuckoo crazy, and it was in Smash Brothers. Today, They're like $50. I mean, they are in stock, but they're a lot more expensive. But I say they're a lot more expensive because they're a lot more higher quality. They're much bigger. They have so much more detail, and they have a lot more texturing and sometimes differing materials on the actual amiibos themselves. And if you've seen like other figurine prices these days, low-key, the amiibo prices, I mean, I could see where they're coming from. The raisin price, you can see it in the quality. Back when amiibo were $15, yeah, they sure did look like they were made for $15. Have you seen the Marth amiibo with his screwed up face?
To be fair though, all the amiibo I own, I'm still happy with. Like, I mean, yeah, you definitely could see a difference in quality, but like it wasn't bad, at least for me. Like I still think they're cute. I can't possibly talk about Amiibo and not talk about that fucking commercial that they made. Do you remember the commercial for Smash Bros? Yeah,
Things.
Dude, I keep forgetting this. Joe Keery was in a fucking Amiibo commercial before Stranger Things. That's like, oh my, that commercial. Okay. Like, as bad as the marketing in the Wii U era was, which, trust me, it was horrific. And I'm not saying the ad is good. Like, the Amiibo ad, if you haven't watched it, just look up Super Smash Bros. Amiibo Nintendo ad. It'll come up. Okay, the thing with the commercial is that, once again, I cannot emphasize this enough. It's not a good ad, but I love it so much. It's so funny. It's like, because it's so just stupid. But yeah, so like, the Amiibo thing, I agree. There definitely is a difference in quality. Nowadays, it feels like they're kind of serving a different purpose. Many games that Amiibo were in for a long time, there wasn't a ton that they actually did. There were a few good examples. I've always been a big fan whenever Amiibo aren't really used. Oh, excuse me, I just hiccuped like 5 times in a row. There are examples where they aren't used like functionally, I mean, in the game, and instead it's more like a costume thing, and those are my favorite incorporations. I love the way it's used, and I personally, I'm a big fan of that. Yoshi's Woolly World, if you use Amiibo, you get like a ton of different costumes with Yoshi, and it's adorable. Mario Kart 8, you have like the Mii costumes, and then there are other more functional ones that I think are cool. I do think the concept of a Smash Bros thing where you scan your Amiibo and then you get to like level up your fighter, although I never felt compelled to play with it, I think it kind of is cool.
I think Sakurai used Amiibo the best in Smash Brothers and in Kirby Air Riders, where you train your Amiibo and level them up. I feel like I've done that so many times where we just train our Amiibos, see who has like the better son, and they fight to the death. Like, it is so cool. And like, speaking of Kirby Air Riders, modular Amiibos now are a thing, and it's so freaking cool. It's like Skylander Swap Force.
Now, here's the thing with hybrid consoles. I don't really use my Switch as a portable console that much. Now, granted, part of that is because no, it's because I don't leave my room. No, it's honestly because most of the time whenever I'm playing games, I'm also recording, and I have to have it docked when I'm recording. But even before I was doing YouTube and I was just playing my Switch, like just as like whenever it came out and I was like in high school, I mainly played it as a home system. That isn't downplaying how cool it is that you are able to take it on the go. And I mean, we've already seen with other, endeavors that other, console makers have gone into, that it is impactful, and it definitely seems like Nintendo made a rift in the industry, and it definitely was a massive part of why they turned around the way they did after the Wii U. With that being said, this might be an insane take, I feel more attached to Amiibo than I do like the concept of a hybrid console.
I live like the Nintendo commercials, low-key. I take my Switch on the go, I play in tabletop mode with friends, and then you dock it at home, play at the TV alone or with friends. I think, for me personally, I truly maximize what the Switch is meant to be in its full potential. And I think that it is such such a genius design.
I do agree it's genius. It is.
It's incredible engineering.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, there's nothing else like it. I mean, you got stuff like the Steam Deck, which can be hooked up to a TV, but it just requires a lot more steps. You gotta buy a separate accessory, and you gotta get all these cables to, well, basically you gotta buy a separate accessory, and then I think you have to do something in the settings to finally get that working. But with the Switch, I mean, the dock is right there. Just plop it in and it automatically turns on your TV and you're just off. Or I don't think we're mentioning the Joy-Cons here, but you can just take off the Joy-Cons and hand it to a friend. Immediately, you got 2 players. Then take out the Switch, go to class or something, flip open the stand, go into tabletop mode, and get a game of like Smash Brothers or Mario Kart going. I've done that so many times. It's genius.
I do agree that, like, yeah, functionally it's genius. I completely understand why other people love it and use it so much. I wasn't even necessarily saying I think Amiibo should move on over hybrid. It's just, for me personally, I've had more of an emotional attachment to Amiibo. But I definitely agree. I think hybrid should move on because it's more pivotal. I think it's fair to say most people would probably argue the same thing for hybrid. So I'm fine with moving that on.
I mean, I really like Amiibo. I still buy some.
I'm sorry, Joe Curie. My goat, Steve Harrington. I'm sorry.
All right, this is a fun one. The GameCube link cable for the Game Boy Advance versus just touchscreen gaming.
Okay, I'm just going to talk about touchscreen gaming first.
Hey, do you have an iPhone?
I do have an iPhone. Okay, Donovan, we're not talking about specifically touchscreen. We're talking about touchscreen gaming. I am not a fan of touchscreen gaming. As much as I was glazing the dual screen of the DS, the actual idea of touchscreen, and I do think it has specific instances where it was cool. Most of the time, I'm going to be honest, if I'm playing a DS game and it's like, all right, now you have to do this thing with this stylus, I kind of roll my eye a little bit. I'm like, oh,
like drawing lines, drawing people.
I do think touchscreen was cool for like PictoChat and stuff like that, for anyone that remembers PictoChat. And once again, like I'm saying, there are cool usages of touchscreen. I'm just saying as a whole. It's not as bad as the DS mic. If the DS mic was on this list, that would be knocked out immediately. I hate the mic. Touchscreen, more of just most of the time, I'm not huge on this.
I mean, Nintendo wasn't the first to invent a touchscreen. They definitely showed the ropes, or they just showed everyone how to make touchscreen gaming intuitive and fun, which has further extended it to arguably the biggest market for gaming, which is mobile gaming. I don't know, Candy Crush, yay, or Clash Royale, Clash of Clans, Brawl Stars. That's all touchscreen gaming, and it can all be stemmed from the Nintendo DS.
No, it's definitely impactful, for sure.
Now, the link cable is an interesting one. It's kind of cool in concept. It's like the Wii U Gamepad before the Wii U.
Well, okay, but right away, there's a massive difference between this and the Gamepad. The Gamepad was an innate part of the system that did drive the price up. Yeah, this was purely optional, which I do think makes it probably better from like an objective point of view, because it's like you don't have to engage with it. And once again, I don't think either of us really ever used this thing, but it does sound cool, like with 4 swords and like the idea of connecting your portable system directly to your thing. And this is like years before like what we were just talking about with hybrid gaming. And obviously this isn't hybrid, but it's somewhat setting the groundwork for, melding the two worlds together.
I think this is a step up from what they did with Pokemon Stadium on Nintendo 64, where you can sort of connect your Game Boy to the N64 via some attachment to the controller. But it was only via the cartridge. Here, this is kind of the first time they're really integrating, or they tried to integrate handheld and home console together to make it their family of systems. And then they further do that with DS and Wii, and then 3DS and Wii U, and then all the way to just combining the entire thing. So I get this is another step in the road. Functionally, though, I mean, it's kind of cool. You can kind of transfer stuff. Yeah, it could be a controller. I don't know why you would use it as a controller, other than for like 4 Swords adventures. But we're giving the link cable its flowers, even though we've never played it.
Yeah, to be fair, this is how I'm looking at it. whenever we think of what a good versus a bad gimmick is, to me, a bad gimmick is whenever it feels like a gimmick. It feels like something that's like, oh, this is just like a tacky thing that's like maybe every once in a while it does something cool, but for the most part, it feels like a gimmick. That's touchscreen gaming for me. It doesn't feel as indicative.
Nintendogs? It would feel so weird if you're using just a stick. I feel like in Tomodachi Life Living the Dream, when you're patting your Mii's head, it kind of feels wrong. Like, it feels like, oh yeah, this definitely was supposed to be something on like the 3DS.
But those are specific examples.
I mean, touchscreen gaming for Nintendogs. No,
I'm saying Nintendogs is a good example of touchscreen. I see what you mean, and it's like it kind of goes hand in hand with the Wii U gamepad thing, where like Super Mario Maker is a game that was made how good it was because of the touchscreen of the gamepad. So there are definitely really good applications of it.
I'm gonna say sorry, Link Cable. I just don't have much experience.
Fine. Donovan won me over.
All right, this one's gonna hurt me. LABO versus glasses-free 3D. I love both of these.
I know which one I'm voting for.
I love both of these. Which one are you going?
Oh, I'm all the way on Team LABO.
Oh, hell yeah. Do you turn off the 3D?
Yes, I have. I don't remember the last time I've used 3D on my 3D.
Dude, I use 3D all the time. That's probably why I'm blind.
Once again, before I have anyone like bitching about this in the comments, I know it's technically impressive. Like from a purely like engineering, whatever the term would be. Like it is really cool that they did this, especially in 2011. With that being said, from a practical perspective, I really never use 3D. To me, it just drains the battery quicker. I would rather play games with
But they pop in your face. Genuinely, it did give depth to games. Like in Samus Returns, you can actually tell the difference between foreground, middle ground, and background, which is really cool. Something that you lose with 2D displays. It's kind of cool.
Okay, but my immediate counterpoint is I'm on a handheld system. To me, I prioritize battery, and it just drains the battery, and it's like...
Okay, yeah.
A lot of time it's easy if you're not sitting in the exact right position. It quickly feels disorienting, maybe from my own experience.
I mean, for handhelds, I feel like you lose that immersion factor without the big screen. But I think in a weird, messed up way, you could say 3D made gaming on the go a little bit more immersive. Am I high?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I see what you mean, but I just personally never felt compelled to use it. I do know Super Mario 3D Land is a good example of using 3D.
Like 3D World, without 3D, I actually mess up my jumps, and I feel like the 3D was made necessary for that.
I think 3D's... I think this is a classic case for me of I respect it, I just don't use it. And plus, I think LABO is cool as fuck too. Like I've always loved LABO.
Is cool as fuck. That was my first video. LABO was an amazing kid's toy.
Yeah, I haven't really used, because I did get the first two LABO. No. I got not the one that was the robot, but I got like the one that was like the variety where you could make the house and you could make the fishing game, like, you know, that one. Mm-hmm. And then I also got the vehicle pack. The vehicle pack I loved. I thought that was cool. The first one was cool too, but the thing with LABO, most of the fun is actually making the contraption. Using it was, especially as a kid, was awesome. Like, it was like, I made this thing.
The only good use of the IR camera. It's really cool. It uses like this reflective tape where the IR camera can sense it, and you know the reflective tape moves around in the box, but you don't see that, so it kind of feels like magic. That's really cool.
The process of building LABO, the only thing I don't like about it is that there's a bunch of random little pieces that are annoying to clean up, but that's such a small nitpick. Most of the time the games, they just don't have a ton of replay value, but actually playing them is still fun. Like, it's fun to just be like, dude, like I made this thing. And while yes, this is pretty much the only good use of the IR camera, it's a pretty damn good use of the IR camera. Like that, it honestly acts as a really good demonstration of just how advanced the Joy-Cons are. Yeah, I'm all the way on Team LABO here. I think LABO's underrated.
LABO is Nintendo experimenting at its finest. I mean, the team that does LABO, they're so weird. They're like the weird freakazoids of Nintendo. They make Tomodachi Life. I don't know. They didn't make Dragon Drive. But this is just a prime example of just Nintendo being weird and creative. So I don't understand why some people say, oh, they lost the magic and whimsy. Yeah, they had it. You just didn't buy it, or you just grew up. Glass is free 3D though, but like
it's not even specifically about growing up though. It's like I'm 22 years old. I still I don't have LABO with me. If someone for whatever reason bought a copy of LABO and went to my apartment and was like, yo, do you want to spend the afternoon? I'd be like, hell yeah. Like that, dude, this is fun. Okay, Glass is free 3D. Once again, Donovan, I get why people like it. I personally, cool. I think it is cool, but I just think I've never felt compelled to use it. I still don't. So it would be disingenuous if I voted to move it on.
Okay.
Donovan, you made me move on touchscreen gaming. Okay, so we can compromise on this one. All right.
I mean, I like both. It's like shooting a child.
How is it like shooting a child? For the next round, we're on to our final little like 2 rounds of the first round. That's a sentence I just said. This is an interesting one. We have the Powerglove versus Rob the Robot. So these are both really like retro like toys almost. So I feel like from an impact level, the answer is obvious, but this one, is it a hot take to say I think the Powerglove's cooler? Like, I honestly, I want to try the Powerglove.
Hey, is the Powerglove in Smash Brothers?
I mean, yeah, I didn't realize the criteria was whether it's in Smash or not. Okay, Rob the Robot. I mean, everyone yaps about it. It's like it's literally the most cliche thing for a YouTuber to be like. So here's the story of how Nintendo saved the gaming industry with a robot. But like, I mean, it did happen.
Every white boy Nintendo YouTuber, it's a Trojan horse.
No, literally, it was like the defining moment of no.
The thing with Rob is that he's super slow and not the most fun to play with.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right now, my logic between these two is which one would I rather play with? By far, it's the Powerglove. Like, I want to try that thing out, even though I'm
Name
sure
the games that the Powerglove worked with.
I don't fucking know, but I want to still try it. I want to try it. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I don't own an original Super Nintendo, so I'm not even able to play those games anyway. Or was it the NES? I think it was.
Yeah, it was the NES.
Yeah, it was the okay. Never mind. The NES. I mean, I'm just saying. I don't think I've ever felt like, you know what, like I want to try Rob, because I think to me
Rob's a robot and robots are cool.
Robots are cool, but I think that Rob the Robot is more of a like capsule of the past. It's something I look at with fondness, and it's like I appreciate, you know, what it did for the NES and the marketability of it. The Powerglove, like, yeah, it has less tangible impact and less usage, but like it's cool as fuck though. Like, and it is way ahead of its time too.
I guess, yeah, but Rob's a cool robot. He's cool.
Okay, let me Google what is all the functionality of the Powerglove. What is the functionality of
He's the Trojan horse.
No. I'm talking about the Rob the Robot's the Trojan horse. Okay, the Nintendo Power. Here's the Google AI overview. The Nintendo Powerglove is a motion-controlled input device for the NES designed to translate hand gestures into on-screen gameplay actions. Like, I'm sure that is clunky as hell, especially given the time period it was made. I think that sounds so fun to just like mess with for like an afternoon though. Like, that sounds so funny.
But what was the game?
Oh yeah, wait, let me Google.
For Rob, you got Gyromite and you got that other doctor game. They both start the same doctor, but you're kind of just working with Rob and you're progressing through the level.
Okay, so for the Power Glove, there were 2 games that were made specifically for it, which was, I guess, Super Glove Ball and Bad Street Brawler. I don't really know anything about either of those, but there was a list of games that it was compatible with. There is stuff you could use it with. I will say, whenever I Googled it, AI Overview specifically notes that it was famous for how bad of a control scheme it was. but like, that's a part of the charm, though. It's like...
Hey, that's Rob's charm too, and he has a face.
Okay, so are we moving on?
I'm moving the robotic operating buddy.
Fine. It's the Trojan horse. It's the
Trojan horse of video games. Excite the gaming industry.
So actually, we have to move on, Rob, because it's the reason we have anything that we have today. All right, so for our final first round matchup, we have this is going to be a fun one. We have Streetpass for the 3DS versus mouse, the mouse controls of the Switch 2. This is another one that I already know which way I'm leaning.
Okay, mouse controls with Joy-Con 2. I was trying that out with on my friend's Switch with the game Mouse PI. It looks like Cuphead or an old Steamboat Willie ripoff, or inspired by, I should say. It's a Doom shooter, and mouse controls works pretty well. Now, I will say mouse controls on the Joy-Con 2 is not for everyone because it's not a mouse. But for my tiny ass hands, it does work well enough for me. I mean, I used mouse controls for like 99% of my playthrough of Metro Prime 4 Beyond Nintendo Switch 2 Edition.
Well, and here's something though that we have to consider. Compared to a lot of the other gimmicks from a Nintendo console, this one is less of them thinking outside of the box and being wacky. And it's more of like an established concept that people know works, aka a PC mouse.
I do think it's, in a way, genius because console games don't have mouse controls. I mean, the closest you can get is with the gyroscope in a controller, something that the Xbox controller still doesn't have. And mouse controls is just, here it is, mouse. There. You don't need to pretend you're using a mouse with mouse controls. Here it is.
Yeah, and I do like how with the mouse controls you can use it on basically any surface. That's a really cool, aspect of it.
I think another feature of mouse controls is that it does use the gyroscope, unlike an actual traditional mouse. So you can actually rotate the controller, and it'll simulate rotating in the game, which is something you actually can't do with a standard mouse. And that can be seen in like the shittiest examples, drag and drive. I mean, it's kind of cool in concept, but like, come on. And the Jamboree TV exclusive minigames, which I actually think are pretty cool. They're pretty cool uses of mouse control.
Now, with that being said, I am like horny for Streetpass. I think Streetpass is the coolest shit. Like, I could yap about how much I love Streetpass. I love the sense of community that they tapped into with it, especially during this era of gaming, and how with a portable system it allows for that sense of belonging with each other as you're on the go, and it's not like you're just in your room. I remember back in the day whenever I was a kid and I would be at the airport, or I would be at like a PAX convention, and just pulling out Streetpass just to see how many people I could get on there. And it was there's
so cool.
There's no denying the feeling that you would get from not only just seeing the Mii's pop up on your screen, but it's also like a reminder of, how many people there are in the gaming world around you. It sounds so corny, but like it is true. I remember as a kid, it unironically did a lot for making me feel more comfortable, especially in a time whenever gaming wasn't as mainstream, at least in terms of like Nintendo gaming with the youth. Like back then in the early 2010s, it wasn't really cool to play Nintendo stuff. Having things like this where it did foster that sense of community, it did go a long way. So I mean, maybe it's nostalgia speaking, but I always really appreciated Streetpass.
Since you reminded me that no, Nintendo did not invent the mouse. I think mouse controls on Joy-Con 2, they're supplementing a control scheme that wasn't present. Streetpass, however, is a entirely unique concept that is actually super fucking cool, and is something that I dearly wished was on the Switch too. It truly connected Nintendo 3DS owners. I was so excited. Like, I felt like I had an orgasm when I saw that green light. It was something else, man. And not to mention, you get so many Miis in the Mii Plaza, and he had all those minigames, but not just Mii Plaza. It worked with so many games across the Nintendo 3DS library. Streetpass really felt like it was connecting a community together. It encouraged people to take out their handhelds and encouraged people to get their steps in or something. This is one of the best features for a handheld. It truly made having a handheld feel awesome.
Yeah, this was going into this ranking one of my like definitive picks. Like I was ready to fight for my life for Street Pass. And one argument I could see someone making for why it shouldn't move on is it's limited to a specific period of time, kind of confined to an era. It's like even if Street Pass still works,
there's not much people walking around with the 3DS these days.
And I, as much as I wish Street Pass continued on, and I would love for Nintendo to bring back the concept of what Street Pass was going for, it also kind of, in a roundabout way, is cool because it does act as a vessel to my childhood. It has that like nostalgic capability to it where if I ever see videos where someone will like show footage of Street Pass or mention it, kind of gives me that melancholic longing for that feeling I had whenever I was young and on a trip or just using my 3DS while out and about. So I don't really necessarily see it as a downside. It's just, it's just something that was definitely, much like a lot of these things, it's stuff that was a part of the past and it defined the specific era that it was a part of. So I vote Street Pass personally.
Yeah, mouse controls is it's clever engineering. Street Pass, I think,
I'm not trying to downplay mouse controls. I think that they work well for what they're doing with it. It isn't as inventive as I mentioned before. So moving on to round number 2, we have motion controls versus the fucking Virtual Boy.
All right, so moving on, we have dual screens versus hybrid console.
We're not even gonna talk about the motion control. No, we don't need to. Okay, so yeah, moving on, we have dual screen versus hybrid consoles. Because you did kind of change my mind a little bit, because even if it's like hybrid consoles isn't as relevant to the way I personally engage with the Switch, I definitely see the value of it. And there are times where like some of my friends will be in the living room and we're having a conversation, but it's like, have you ever had those conversations with people where it's like you're not having a deep convo and it's just kind of like surface level? So you could be doing something like
Clubhouse games.
Yeah, sometimes I'll pull out my Switch while we're talking about bullshit and I'll just be like playing Mario Kart or whatever. So there are times that I definitely do use like the hybrid nature of the Switch.
You see, for me, when you were first bringing up dual screens, I thought it was also stringing in touchscreen gaming, but then I looked to the right and you separated them. I think this would be a bit of a different conversation if touchscreen gaming was rolled into dual screens, but because it's not, I think hybrid console, I think it kind of clears dual screen gaming.
The main reason I separated touchscreen and dual screen is because they've kind of, as time has gone on, moved in their own separate directions.
Yeah, they kind of separated. I mean, we've seen Nintendo DS and 3DS ports on Switch, and dual screens can just be circumvented.
No, you're right. It's hybrid. Yeah, you won me over.
I'm going to move on hybrid. Okay, we got touchscreen gaming
versus LABO.
Shit.
It's like the comments we're gonna get about this.
I like cardboard. I like my expensive cardboard.
Once again, time to piss people off. Probably. I'm once again think LABO.
Holy shit. You got some balls.
Donovan, I don't give a fuck, okay? I love LABO. And like, I already said how I'm not a huge fan of touchscreen gaming in the first place. I don't hate it, but I just really like LABO. I think, plus, I'm not even, like with LABO, it goes beyond my own personal experience with it. Like, I love my time with LABO and I would be down to build with it again. I love it for what they were doing with it as a kid's peripheral. I think The idea of giving kids a fun way to learn the basics of how this shit works is brilliant. Yeah, it's a little expensive, but I don't know. I really appreciate what they were doing with it. I think who knows the ways Nintendo probably impacted people in a positive way with maybe getting kids interested in engineering, getting kids interested in like game development with some of the
spawned Game Builder Garage, if you remember that.
Exactly. You know, that's what I meant. Like
EPD4.
Well, yeah, no, it's like LABO came before that, and it did kind of spark that idea of like building your own uses for the LABO. I'm sure there were kids all around that did play with LABO that probably were inspired by it in some way, shape, or form. Probably, I would imagine.
If we ignore like the history and the precedent touchscreen gaming made, what is more Nintendo? Touchscreen gaming or LABO?
I mean, I think both of these are pretty Nintendo. I think LABO, at its core, the philosophy of LABO is very Nintendo.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, Donovan, you can fight for the other. Like, you don't have to just submit.
I like them both, and I think I fuck with LABO a little bit more.
Well, plus it's just going to be funny to look at the comments after this too. All right, moving on.
You can watch my video. The shameless plug.
Yeah, and then now we have, for me personally, another easy one: Rob the Robot versus Streetpass. Once again, Rob is the Trojan horse. Rob is the reason we're even talking about this at all. Because if it wasn't for Rob,
MrDean.
If it wasn't for Rob, the gaming industry would have crashed. Well, it did crash, but it wouldn't have recovered. I get all that. Streetpass is once again in a very similar way, so indicative of what Nintendo is, like at its core.
Yeah, sorry, Rob.
Yeah, it's Streetpass. Okay, so moving on to our final four. I love how the first round took us like 40 minutes, and we went right through these with the second round. Well, because like half of them were just so cut and dry. Okay, so final four, first matchup, we have motion controls versus the idea of a hybrid console. This one's more interesting than the dual screen. When motion controls are integrated well, they genuinely do make games better. In my opinion, I'm not one of those people that's anal about like get motion controls out of my game.
Yeah.
Like,
I also think motion controls can allow for certain games to even exist.
I'm honestly more so like I agree with the fact that it's like, especially in the Wii generation, there were a lot of games that literally would either not exist or would just be way more boring without motion controls. But I'm honestly more so pulled to them with the way they make certain games just more fluid to control. Like I already mentioned the examples I brought up before, but like
hot take, I still played Skyward Sword HD with the motion.
I haven't played Skyward Sword yet, so I just have I just have no I have no comment. But yeah, faux show. Yeah, the weather is
yeah, the weather is great.
All right.
So.
Once again, I mean, see, the thing with doing these brackets is it's kind of hard because once you get to these later rounds, it's hard to mention new things that we haven't already talked about. With hybrid consoles, like I already kind of said my piece on it. Right now, gun held to my head, I'm leaning towards moving motion controls on. That more so just stems from my own personal attachment to whenever motion controls are done well. Although I will say the difference between motion and hybrid is that hybrid has never ruined anything necessarily. It's like it gives you the option and the flexibility to play how you want to. There are times whenever motion controls are invasive on the gameplay experience. Once again, most notably during the Wii generation 2. Like there were games that I think I would have liked more had they not featured motion controls, be it Mario Party 8, maybe Mario Super Sluggers with some of the weird like mini games that you had to do in the campaign, Donkey Kong Country Returns, there's like just random examples like that.
Motion controls allow you to play games in a way you've never played before. Hybrid console can allow you to bring any game you want. Doesn't matter, handheld or home console kind, anywhere you go.
Now that whenever you say it like that, I'm gonna vote hybrid.
Gun to my head, like the muzzle is right on my forehead.
Because here's the thing, the more and more I've thought about it, And I'm not saying I've changed my mind about like I personally have suddenly felt more of a need to play my Switch on the go. I still probably will play it mainly docked and at home, and that's made me realize the beauty of a hybrid console because I have that choice. I get to play it that way, and one of my friends who also has a Switch and maybe they always play on the go, they're able to do it that way too, and there's nothing right or wrong about either gameplay style. So my whole original point about like in the first round, whenever I was like, I'm not really into hybrid as much, it kind of is like the beauty of it is the fact that I even get to decide that. So even in the cases where motion controls does positively impact a game, it also has the counterpoint of the negative aspects. Whereas hybrid to me doesn't really do any harm. If any, like the only thing it really does is it like gives the player more leeway in engaging with the console the way that best suits them.
Okay, hybrid is moving on to the final round.
I love how the final round is going to feature either Streetpass or LABO. This is awesome. Streetpass versus LABO. This is gonna break my heart, Donovan. I love both of these things.
Yeah,
they're to me personally, they're also both kind of relics of the past. Albeit LABO's more modern than Streetpass is, and LABO's more functionally usable.
Okay, hear me out, LABO.
All right, give me your reason.
Nintendo. There's this quote by Gunpei Yokoi. You could say what Nintendo is today. He made Nintendo, and there was this quote by him. Nintendo follows this philosophy to a T. It's called lateral thinking with withered technology, using old technology to create better ideas. And it doesn't mean just, microchips. It could mean dirt cheap materials like cardboard. I think LABO is a perfect encapsulation of it's not about the fanciest graphics or the most expensive computer chips. It's about the best ideas. What ideas can be fun. And I think LABO truly encapsulates that to a T.
You know what, Donovan? I like that. I like that point.
I'm gonna shake your hand on that.
Yeah, virtual dap up. We're moving LABO on to the final round. And that's as someone that once again loves Streetpass. I do think Streetpass was once again confined to an era, whereas LABO is not tethered to the social aspect of online, and you could still fuck with it as much as you want today. I think LABO is one of those things, honestly. If I ever parent in the future, I am gonna like retroactively have my kids play with some Nintendo LABO because like I think like every kid should play with LABO. I think it's awesome. This is not where I thought this list was gonna take us, but we have the hybrid. I can't stop laughing. We have hybrid consoles versus LABO.
Okay, so this list is about the best Nintendo gimmicks.
Which of these two things embodies the spirit of Nintendo more? And I think they both do a lot, just in different ways. Like hybrid gaming, it encapsulates the idea of allowing the player to engage with the game the way that best suits them. And I think that's a philosophy that's been present ever since the inception of Nintendo as a video game company. If you look as early back as how they used to design Mario games, like all that kind of stuff, it did always feel like they wanted the player to, at the end of the day, have fun. And what's the best way to let them have fun? Give them that freedom. LABO, I don't want to just repeat exactly what Donovan was just saying in his little monologue a minute ago, but like that is the essence of LABO. It's taking something that is quote unquote lesser and using it. So both of these are very Nintendo ideas. We sound like such bootlickers right now.
Hey, didn't we talk about calling people?
Oh wait, yeah, you're right. You're right. Oh my God.
I think this is how we settle our bracket by calling someone else.
Pat, we're doing another bracket and we want your input.
Okay.
So just for context, this is a bracket on the best Nintendo gimmicks of all time.
Uh-huh.
And we're on the final round, and the two finalists are hybrid console, so, the Switch, versus Nintendo LABO.
This is the final round.
This is the final round.
Okay.
This is the final
Hybrid
round.
console.
But, like, low key, though, like, LABO is, like, kind of dope, though. Okay,
last time you said that I had the definitive answer and that I shouldn't elaborate. Is that true this time?
I feel like you're downplaying LABO, though.
I feel like last time I said something that you agreed with and you weren't questioning me on it. So I think it's some foul play by asking
I
me
think our faith has been with you.
the LABO.
Okay. Well, okay. Can I at least tell you what Donovan said about LABO? Donovan was just like, it taps back into Gunpei Yokoi's philosophy of like taking something that's less and being like, you know, morphing it into something valuable and like allowing for innate player expression or some pretentious shit like that.
Sure. Yeah. They sold a bunch of cardboard for a lot of money too.
Oh, okay.
Handheld is like a hybrid is just great for the gaming industry. It easily trumps it.
All right, well, we have one vote for hybrid consoles. I'm sure we're also going to have a lot of fun comments on this video about this final. All right, well, thank you, Padnat.
You guys out there watching.
I told them at the beginning to subscribe to Padnat Games, by the way. So
yeah, as you should every episode, every video, you should be saying that.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you, Pat, for your input. I mean, even if it was wrong, like I appreciate it. All right, bye.
That's one for hybrid.
Okay. What's up? Yo, what's up, SF? We are doing another bracket right now, and we're trying to get input. So, did you say "Oh God"?
Yes.
you mean "Oh Tongue"?
On tongue, bro.
Oh tongue, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this is, for context, the best Nintendo console gimmicks.
Okay.
So we're on the final round. And okay, can you please make me a promise before I even tell you what the final matchup is? Don't laugh.
Okay.
Do you pinky promise, SF? Okay.
Pinky promise.
Yeah. The matchup is hybrid consoles versus Nintendo Labo.
So
You said you weren't gonna laugh, okay?
I'm trying my best, okay? So let me take a wild guess at what actually won, right?
Well, nothing has won yet.
Then what?
We're asking for your opinion on which one you think should win.
I'm gonna go with Nintendo Labo.
Oh wait,
holy shit, things got interesting.
Oh, okay. SF actually made this interesting. Okay, I was expecting you to walk in and just be like hybrid console. Okay.
Well, that would be the obvious choice, but
no, because like me and Donovan are both like low key. Like, dude, Labo is like slept on.
it is. But the best console gimmick. I mean, obviously, hybrid console's like better, but
I think hybrid console, if we're talking about quote unquote objectively, is probably better, and it's been more influential on a industry wide perspective.
I would say Labo's probably the worst. The more I think about it.
No, but
Because it's like, what? It's cardboard.
okay,
That's the fun of it.
okay, but yeah,
Lame.
no, okay, SF. But what our whole point is that it allows like especially young gamers, or not even gamers, just young kids to be able to engage with the mechanics of how the technology works in a fun way. And even like as I've gotten older, I still feel like if you were to just give me a Labo right now and be like, build me something, I'd be like, oh yeah, bet. Like that sounds fun.
Or you could be like, all right, go play Minecraft.
No. Oh, that is true. That you know what? That is actually an interesting point. We didn't even think about Minecraft. So are you switching your vote to hybrid?
No, I want to keep it at Labo for the bit.
Okay. Okay.
Type shit.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you.
What you drinking there?
Oh, do you hear me drinking?
Oh no, I just guessed.
Oh, I know. I literally was drinking as you said that. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, just a quick question. We're on the podcast right now.
Okay.
And don't laugh. We're doing a bracket. Best Nintendo console gimmicks. You ready to hear the final round? You are about to decide what is the best Nintendo gimmick.
Wait, okay, so it's 4 consoles right now?
I'm gonna give you the 2 options, and you're gonna decide which is the best Nintendo gimmick. You're the tiebreaker.
Okay.
Number 1, hybrid console. So basically the Switch concept.
Okay.
And its opponent, Nintendo Labo.
Oh my god, are you serious?
I'm serious.
This is, I mean, the LABO is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. It's pretty awesome.
I have a feeling you brought the LABO into this. I just have a
No, we both are pioneering for LABO, and we called 2 other people.
I fucking knew it. Oh man, I mean, this is a tough decision because they're both like on the same like thing. It's like an accessory.
Yeah.
More than a. It's more.
What is more Nintendo?
You have the LABO. It's a VR concept, and it does allow you to integrate with the hybrid system, meaning that I would say that the hybrid system allows it to perform.
You're right. Oh shit.
You can't have the LABO. Well, you can't have the Switch without the LABO. So it would make that the higher priority would be the hybrid or the Switch.
Almost all the kits except for the robot kit. For some of them, you need to have the system just in like handheld mode or without the Joy-Cons, and you slide it into the house, the motorcycle, the fishing rod, or the VR headset. You kind of do need that hybrid aspect.
I don't think we should base the decision on whether something is supplemental versus like the main gimmick. That doesn't decide whether it's better or worse. It just says it's, secondary versus.
I want to move on LABO, but
Yeah. So while we were calling, I might have to cut it out from earlier because of the way the audio mixing was. Mm-hmm. Donovan had said, the more I thought about it, I kind of am leaning LABO, but you never got the chance to really elaborate on why. So like what brought you to that decision?
Just what I was talking about earlier, Gunpei Yokoi's entire philosophy kind of encapsulates what Nintendo's been doing ever since they started making toys. In terms of LABO, I think LABO truly encapsulates what Nintendo does, and it's making fun out of nothing. So, LABO!
Yeah, LABO! Congrats to LABO! I love how whenever we called Pat that, he was like, is this a joke?
Yeah, he's like...
Because it is definitely probably not what you would expect to win, but it's like, I'm happy with it. Like, I think LABO... Okay, so that is the official special hour pick
list
of the best Nintendo gimmick. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. If you stuck through, and thank you to I'm gonna put their channel on the screen while they were talking. But thank you to Padnat Games and SF Productions for speaking. And wait, That Boy Sonic, he doesn't do YouTube though, right? Okay. So I don't really have anything to put there. But thank you, That Boy Sonic, for giving us his insight. And I do think what he said about it being secondary was like, that was a good perspective that we weren't really thinking about. I just don't think that it was indicative of which way we should vote. Yeah, if you guys also have any ideas for other brackets, once again, feel free to let us know. Donovan, where can the people find you on YouTube?
DonovanDud on YouTube, making stuff on video games. I'm also on Discord, the Nintendo Boys. And I'm on Instagram and Twitter. Mr. Dean, where are you?
I'm also on YouTube, MrDean44. You can find me on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok, Discord. The bye.